How to get deductions for donations. My name is Daniel Passon. I'm with Robert Hall Associates of one of the consultants here, and we're discussing today how to get deductions for donations. Please like, subscribe, and set that notification bell for future videos that Robert Holmes and Associates may post, so that way you can be kept informed on future videos and other notifications we may give for you. Today we're going to be discussing how donations can give you deductions. First off, what deductions are deductible? Next, what documentation you may need. And third, what sort of limitations there may be. Now, deductions can be a big part to many people on their tax return. You could be super philanthropic. You can give the amount of 10% or so, as some people may do, out of their paycheck. Or you can just give a lot of stuff out of your garage. But however you give, whether it's volunteering or giving money, food, other items to the local organizations around you, all these things are deductible on your tax return as donations. Now, that depends on the organization though. In order to have a donation that's deductible, you need to be giving to a qualified 501c3 charity. Now, these charities are churches or other organizations, but technically they need to be a 501c3 organization, as all tax-exempt organizations are not this type. Many people think tax-exempt means they're an organization you give charities to. But there are certain things like sororities, frats, or political organizations that might be tax-exempt. They are not 501c3 charitable donations that are deductible. Along the lines of that, though, what about my kid? I'm giving my kid donations every year. Well, gifts are not always gifts for the donation purpose. They, like along the lines of the 501c3 charity, I doubt that your children, aunts, uncles, friends, family are qualified charities. So as much as I don't want to not commend you on giving family or other people help, they are not anything you can deduct. But 501c3 charities are the eligible donations that you can do and give money to as a deductible expense. Next, we'll be talking about documentation needed for those donations. Now, a few things need to be happening. One, first, you need to be doing the donation. As much as you can tell a tax preparer, I gave $50,000 to a charity, or I gave my entire wardrobe to an organization, it needs to actually happen. So first, you need to have some sort of proof of the donation, whether it's a check, whether it's the withdrawal from your bank showing that this happened. Some sort of documentation needs to be had to show that you actually did the donation. Next, you need to have an actual letter from the organization stating that they did receive this, whatever you said you gave, and that there were no goods or services given in receipt for either the money or the time or effort, whatever it might be. Now, I did talk about time right now, but unfortunately your time is not worth anything in the government's eyes. So it doesn't need to be something that can be quantifiable. Things like a check, $1 that's given, or actual items that are given. But you do need to receive nothing in return for these things, which the letter should specify. This letter should say the organization's name, ideally signed by a member of that organization, as well as show the ID number, 501c3 charitable donation number on it, and these should all be present on the letter as well. Now, if it's over $5,000 plus of money, you should need to have actually a formalized appraisal done as well. Now, this is a thing that is an actual appraisal. It is not the donation or the organization writing on thing of what they feel the value is. It's not you writing what you think it is worth. This is a formal appraisal done by an appraiser who notates their qualifications, and you have to ideally upload this and include with your tax return. So you do need to have an actual appraisal done if it is a higher value item. But these are things that you need to quantify and qualify that donation for your taxes. It is very easy to have the charity value it for you, but once again, this is not an official donation that would be deductible if it was ever audited, because you would need a formal appraisal done. Along the lines of that, the third item is that there are limitations to these donations potentially. Now, the limitations could be based on the type of donation you did as well as your income. But let's start with the first basic one. First off, you need to get over the standard deduction to even see any of this donation. If you have a friend who gave $5,000 in charity, that's great. that might not be deductible because if they're taking the standard deduction, they don't actually see any of that as a deductible expense. It is deductible, but not deducted. It can be kind of different things because it's like saying, I have a car that's running, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily driving it. So these are things that it could be deductible, but it was never deducted. If your income is not able to, if your deductions are not high enough to actually get over the standard deduction. So first off, there might be limitations based on that. Next, there is a limitation based on your adjusted gross income. Things like charities, like church and whatnot, they have typically a 50 to 60% of your adjusted gross income, depending on the year, of a deductible amount. So if your income is $100,000, you can deduct up to $50,000 or so, depending on the year, of that deduction off of your income. So if you give $100,000 and your income was only $100,000 that year, you can only take a limited amount on that. There's also other things like appreciated assets. If you give appreciated assets, like let's just say your house appreciated in value, or actually it's more investments like stock or whatnot, then these are things that you might only have 30% of your adjusted gross income as an amount that you're able to take as a deduction on that. So if your income is $100,000, even if it's a $100,000 donation, you might only get $30,000. The additional amounts do carry forward. So these are things that carry over year, but there might be limitations based on adjusted gross income limitations on the type of donation you're doing. And not to say you lose the deduction, but it might be a carryover that you have for future years, which will be also limited based on those years too, whether you can't itemize or whether you have higher income to where it's, well, I should say lower income, because then it's lowered based on your adjusted gross income. So these are how you can get deductions based on donations. Hopefully you enjoyed today and you understood what we were talking about and learned something from it. Please reach out to our office if you have any further questions at Robert Hall & Associates. Please like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell, and click on the link below if you have any further questions or would you like a consultation with myself or one of our fellow associates.